For 3 years, the position had become legendary. Not because it paid well. It did. Not because it offered prestige. It certainly did. But because nobody could keep it. The record was 11 hours. After that, every assistant quit. Some left crying. Some left angry. One reportedly walked out before lunch. And nobody blamed them. Because working for CEO Alexander Sterling was considered impossible. Alexander was one of the most successful business leaders in the country. Founder of a billion-dollar technology company. Visionary. Brilliant. Demanding. And since a car accident 6 years earlier. Paralyzed from the neck down. The accident had changed everything. His body. His independence. His relationships. His trust in people. Most of all, his trust. Alexander relied on assistants for nearly every physical task. Scheduling. Communication. Travel. Personal care coordination. Everything. The problem? He pushed everyone away. Every mistake became a lecture. Every delay became a confrontation. Every misunderstanding became a disaster. Eventually assistants stopped trying. Then they quit. Human resources had nearly given up. Then one resume appeared. A man named Daniel Carter. Single father. Former paramedic. Part-time office manager. No experience assisting CEOs. The hiring manager frowned. You know this job has a terrible reputation? Daniel smiled. I've raised 2 kids alone. The hiring manager laughed. Fair point. 3 days later, Daniel started. Everyone expected him to quit by lunchtime. The first warning arrived at 8:17 a.m. Alexander demanded coffee. The assistant before Daniel had prepared it incorrectly. Alexander had fired him. Daniel handed over the coffee. Alexander took 1 sip. Then frowned. Too hot. Silence. Employees nearby immediately became nervous. This was how it always started. Daniel nodded. Okay. Alexander blinked. Okay? Yeah. Daniel took the cup. I'll fix it. No argument. No defensiveness. No drama. Alexander seemed disappointed. The second incident happened before noon. A scheduling error caused a meeting delay. Alexander's frustration erupted instantly. This is exactly why nobody lasts here. The office became silent. Employees pretended not to listen. While listening very carefully, Daniel calmly reviewed the calendar. Then looked up. Actually, the mistake was yours. The room froze. Completely froze. Nobody spoke to Alexander that way. Nobody. Alexander stared. Dangerously. Then Daniel pointed at the screen. You approved the change Tuesday. A long pause. Alexander checked. Read the entry. Checked again. Finally. Oh. Daniel nodded. It happens. Then he moved on. As if correcting a billionaire CEO was completely normal. For the first time all day, Alexander looked intrigued. Most assistants feared him. Others tried to impress him. Daniel did neither. By the end of the first week, Daniel was still there. By the second week, people were placing bets. By the third week, employees were genuinely confused. Because something strange was happening. Alexander seemed less angry. Not dramatically. Not all at once. Just slightly. The change began with small things. Daniel refused to treat him like glass. Refused to pity him. Refused to fear him. If Alexander was rude, Daniel said so. If Alexander was right, Daniel said that too. The relationship was built on honesty. A concept Alexander hadn't experienced in years. Then one evening, everything changed. A violent storm swept through the city. Employees left early. Roads flooded. Power flickered. Most of the executive floor emptied. Except for Alexander and Daniel. Then the building lost power. Emergency systems activated. But not everything worked. An alarm sounded. Alexander immediately recognized the problem. The backup system supporting one of his critical medical devices had malfunctioned. For the first time since Daniel met him, Alexander looked afraid. Not angry. Not demanding. Afraid. Daniel moved instantly. The former paramedic inside him took over. "Look at me." Alexander did. "You're going to be okay." The confidence in Daniel's voice was absolute. Unshakable. While emergency teams struggled to reach the building through the storm, Daniel manually coordinated every backup procedure available. Checked systems. Contacted medical specialists. Monitored equipment. Never stopped moving. For nearly 2 hours. Finally, emergency crews arrived. The danger passed. The crisis ended. And for the first time in years, Alexander experienced something unfamiliar. Trust. The next morning, he called Daniel into his office. The CEO stared out the window for a long time. Then quietly asked, "Why didn't you leave?" Daniel looked confused. "What? Everyone leaves." A pause. Eventually. Daniel thought for a moment. Then smiled. "Because underneath all the attitude." Another pause. "You're a good man." Alexander actually laughed. For the first time anyone could remember. But what happened a month later would reveal a secret about Daniel that nobody, including Alexander, saw coming. And it would change both of their lives forever. For the next month, something unusual happened inside Sterling Technologies. People started smiling more. Not because the company changed. Because Alexander Sterling did. Slightly. Gradually. Almost imperceptibly. But enough for everyone to notice. Meetings became shorter. Arguments became rarer. Employees stopped looking terrified every time the CEO called. One executive even joked. Either Alexander found inner peace, or Daniel replaced him with a clone. The joke spread through the building. Even Alexander heard it. To everyone's shock, he laughed. Nobody understood how Daniel had done it. The truth was simpler than people imagined. He hadn't changed Alexander. He'd simply refused to treat him as either a billionaire or a victim. He treated him like a person. And Alexander hadn't experienced that in years. Then came the day everything changed. Again. It started with a routine board meeting. Quarterly results. Investor updates. Nothing unusual. Until Alexander noticed something. Daniel wasn't himself. The single dad who was normally calm and cheerful seemed distracted. Checking his phone repeatedly. Quiet. Concerned.